Om. Om. Om Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamatsyaadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalam Achalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. So last time we started this chapter 8 and it was triggered because of the new words that Bhagwan used in the last two verses of the previous chapter. And those words were Kim Brahma, Brahma, Adhyatma, Adhyadnya, Adhibhuta. And this new words, which actually Bhagwan had if you look at the entire Bhagavad Gita, all those words have been explained, but now he has used some technical words, like the meaning was explained, but not using these particular words. So he has used these words so that we get a complete idea of all these words once again. And then, therefore, we saw that it starts with Arjuna Vacha. It starts with Arjuna asking 7 questions. Kim Tad Brahma? What is Brahma? What is Adhyatma? What is Karma? What is Adhibhutam? And then Adhidaivam. Then Adhyadnya. What is Adhyadnya also? And also, how does a person with a controlled mind remember you at the very end of his life? Other than the last one, the previous ones, Bhagwan answered in the next 2 verses right away. And we saw Aksharam Brahma Paramam. So Brahma here is pure consciousness. In simple terms, I'm telling you again, Brahman. This Brahma is not Brahmaji, Brahman. Brahma is, Bhagwan says, it's the imperishable and eternal. Paramam, supreme, and Aksharam, imperishable. We saw the details. So the pure consciousness, what we say, or Om in our chart, that Brahman, self with a capital S. Some Upanishads have used the word Purusha, capital P. All this is what Brahma is. And Swabhava Adhyatma Uchate, Swabhava, my own. So the expression, Bhava is expression. The expression of that pure consciousness through the individual body, through my body, is called as Adhyatma, meaning that expression is what? Is the Jivatma in me, the Jivatma in the morning class we saw, who is identified with the body, mind, and intellect, and therefore known as Jivatma. The Jivatma and Paramatma, Brahman, they are one only, but this Jivatma coming in the body identifies with the body, mind, and intellect, and therefore is known as Jivatma. So what Bhagwan Shri Krishna is saying here is that imperishable, what is Brahma? Okay, Brahman is that imperishable and supreme self, and the expression of that through every individual body is Adhyatma. Okay, so expression of that. So that means it's just one, is in the oneness. So expressing through each individual body, animal body, plant body, whatever, is the jiva. Okay, so Adhyatma is Jivatma. Then what is karma? Karma is that which will bhuta bhava udbhava karaha visargaha. So that karma is that which will give rise to. Udbhava is to give rise to. Okay. Bhuta is all the beings. And of course, I told you, karma adhikara, the choice of karma is only with human beings. So only human beings can evolve, not in animal body. It is Jivatma, but they cannot. But for us, Bhuta, Bhava, Udbhava, Karaha, Visarga. So that which gives rise to Visarga. And Visarga, I told you, Ganpati just happened. So Visarjana, we go immerse the idol in water. Visarga is immersion, or Visarga is dissolution. So karma is that karma which will give rise to dissolution. And that dissolution should help you evolve. And therefore, the dissolution is referring to doership and enjoyership. And therefore, Bhagavan is saying karma is that which is karma yoga, which is done as karma yoga. The 5 principles that I told in the morning class, every karma, when it is done with those attitudes, that is what Bhagavan is calling karma. So all these other karmas which we do with doership, I did and I will enjoy, that sort of a notion that is binding us. Okay, and that's creating more and more vasanas and binding us to this. So that Bhagavan is saying that is not even karma. This is what Bhagavan is saying here. Bhuta bhava udbhava karaha visarga. So that which is giving rise to visarga. What kind of karma will give rise to dissolution, and what is to be dissolved? Karma itself cannot be dissolved because we cannot live without karma. So what can be dissolved is doership and following enjoyership. Doership only if we take care of, enjoyership will be taken care of. It's not 2 things, it's 1 thing only. You take care, you do, therefore you do every action as an instrument of the Lord, as a servant of the Guru, as your duty, as, you know, with detachment, with equanimity. You do all that becomes karma in Bhagwan's. So what it is Brahman is the absolute reality. Jivatma is a superimposition on that Brahman. When I say I am the body mind, I mean, I'm superimposing the body mind and intellect on that Brahman, superimposition. And karma now becomes a method of desuperimposition. So it's absolute reality, superimposition, and desuperimposition. Adhyaropa apavada, as called in technical terms. Now, what is Adibhutam? Adibhutam, Ksharobhava. Anything that perishes is Adibhuta. Okay. So this entire world falls under Adibhuta because why? It is perishing. Perishing is what? Changing. It is changing. And then what falls under that is the body. Because body is perishing, body is changing, body is getting old. So whatever Ksharobhav, that which has perishability, means that which perishes is Adibhuta. So Adibhuta becomes body. Purusha Adi Daivatam. Now this Adi Daivatam word I told you, what is Adi Daivata, is actually referring to Ishvara. Ishvara means Hiranyagarbha, because the material is coming from Hiranyagarbha. Material is what? The 5 great elements. Is that the only material that is there? There is nothing else available. In that material is coming for all the Brahmandas, okay? And each Brahmanda, I told you, has got a Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, a creator, a sustainer, and a destroyer. Brahmaji of Brahmanda 1 has got no connection with the Brahmaji or the Jivas of Brahmanda 2, no connection with anybody else, okay? So they are independent, but on top of all these Brahmandas is Ishvara. And that is what Adibhuta is, his mind, Hiranyagarbha, total mind. So when we say total mind or Ishvara, it's total mind belongs to Ishvara. So that is common for all the Brahma. Therefore, Ishvara is Sarvajna. He not only knows the past, present, and future of Jivas of Brahmanda number 1, he also knows of 2 and 3 and 4 and infinite, whatever numbers there are. Now they're saying there are 1,000 suns. You know, scientists are telling us that, right? So this is what is said in the Shastras, that there are many, this is not our only thing that we see. And also in Purusha Sukta we have read that whatever you see, I extend 10 fingers beyond that. So there must be something there, you know, we have to have faith. So Purusha here, though Purusha in Upanishads is referring to the full pure consciousness, but here it is referring to Ishvara or Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha is all total mind. Okay. And that from there is coming all the material for these adibhutas, means all these bodies. Adibhuta is body, which is perishing. Okay. Adi yajna aham eva atra deha deha bhratambara. Deha bhratambara is only referring to Arjuna. O noble one among the embodied ones. O noble soul among the embodied ones. That is the best, or this thing. And this Adi yajna means it is pure consciousness with referring to the individual body. So again, Adi Yajna becomes in this, I alone am the Adi Yajna, means this, now there is Purusha Ishvara. So this Adi Yajna and Purusha, the relationship is part and whole. Ausha Aushi. That's why Jiva is a part of Ishvara. Like in chapter 15, Bhagavan will say, Mama eva ansha jivaha, when we now connect this to that, this Purusha, that's what he's saying. You are a part of me. So actually we are not a part of anything. Advaita is one, it's non-dual, complete non-duality. Okay. But this is what he's explaining, these terms. So if this term you use Adi Daiva, and we've seen it in the three Shanti, we do Om Shanti, 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 Adhyatma, Adi Bhuta, and Adi Daiva. These are the three terms that we understand. Like there should be peace from within, Adhyatma within. So that is the one thing. Second is from some things which is under my control, Adibhuta, and then Adi Daiva, which is not under my control. That's why Ishvara is above everything. We have no control over that. We don't have. He has control over us. So this Adi Yajna is a part, which is again Jiva, same thing. It is Jiva only, but it is part of Ishvara, and it is one with Brahman. What we have to recognize is the oneness we have to recognize. We can never become Ishvara. But when we try to recognize Ishvara, when we try to understand Ishvara, what will happen is we will merge with the totality, like the salt doll example I told you. When the salt doll tries to gauge the depth of the ocean, it merges. It can never gauge the depth of the ocean. Okay, it will merge. So that is what these terms are. Now, only one question remains. So the whole rest of the chapter is dedicated to that one question. And the question was, how does one remember you? One with a controlled mind remember you? So the question is not how does anyone remember you, but he has qualified it. Arjuna has qualified it with controlled mind. So there is a prerequisite there. So Arjuna is saying, there is a person who has controlled his mind, then how exactly will he remember you? And that is the last question. Okay. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra sanshayah. And whosoever, leaving the body, goes forth, remembering me alone, at the time of his death, he attains my being. There is no doubt about this. I'm going to read the next one also because they are kind of very much connected. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavitaha. Whoever at the end leaves the body thinking of any being, to that being only he goes, O Kaunteya, O son of Kunti, because of his constant thought of that being. So the verse 5 is, he is giving the, giving the principle. What is the principle? And then why is it like that? He's telling in the next verse. So that's why they're very much connected. Why does a person think? What Bhagavan is saying, Antakal. So Antakal here, end, time of, Anta is end, Kala is time. So time of, so end of what? End of the body. Now this Antakala has got different meanings. See, if a person during his lifetime realizes his nature, his oneness with the pure consciousness, that is Antakala for him. Okay, finished. His body, it exists but he has got no connection with that body anymore. That is the definition of the Jivan Mukta Purusha, which we'll be studying next Sunday, but for those who are new, but quite a few of you have already heard this. So there is that one Antakala, that is Antakala for him. But for ordinary ignorant people, Antakala is when the body falls. So Antakala is then at the time of death of the body, because death is only to the body, it is never to the soul. Now, at this time of death, and this Antakala is not referring to realized master at all, because when his actual body falls, he's already realized. So there is no more birth for him. Okay, this Bhagwan is saying, he has asked what happens to him. So what will happen to a realized master at the time of his body falling is nothing. He will merge with the totality and finish. The cycle of birth and death has ended for him. So that is what happens. So it doesn't matter what he remembers, he doesn't remember. It doesn't matter. For a realized master, it doesn't matter how. That's why in Bhaja Govindam we'll study whether he dies in Kashi or whether he dies in, some other place. So it doesn't matter, because the body is already disconnected from the soul for a realized master. But that is not for us. So here he says, Cha mama eva smaran mukta kalevaram, body. The one who leaves his body, remembering me alone. Remembering me alone. Ya prayati sa madbhavam. Madbhava, my bhava. He comes to me. He remembers me. He will come to me. There is no doubt about this. So it's a promise. Like, don't have any doubt that the one who remembers me at the time of death will come to me. Now, the question here is, so the Gurudev's commentary, his lecture, if you hear, the first thing he said was, people come to me and they say, why should I remember God now? Why are you telling me Gita now? When at the time of death, I will remember him and I'll go to him. He promised. He promised. Then Gurudev said, if you have not remembered something throughout your life, how you will remember at the time of death? Because at the time of death, your body has become weak. Your mind also is, we are getting older, mind is becoming, memory is going. Mind has become weak, body has become weak. Now, how will you remember, do something which you have never done before? All your life, you didn't remember him. Now, at the last minute, you're saying, oh, last minute. How is it possible? See, we have a very beautiful story there. There was one person who read this verse and he said, perfect. All my 4 sons, I'm going to name them Bhagwan's names, Nara and Keshav and Madhav and whatever. And he said, at the time of my death, I will call them because, my 4 sons. So I'm going to call one of them, which means I've taken Bhagwan's name, which means I've thought of Bhagwan, which means I will go to Bhagwan. So then he got busy with his business. And anyway, at the very end, he went into a coma. He was unconscious. And the 4 sons thought, oh my God, we don't know who he will call. So we better all 4 be there in the hospital or wherever that he was. When he came to consciousness, the first thing that came out of his mouth was, who is in the shop? Who's looking at it? If all 4 of you are here, what is happening to my business? That is what will happen. If I have thought of my business or my child or my family or the world or whatever that I have thought of throughout my life, that is only going to come at the end. That is the principle here. So when Bhagwan says that at the end you remember me, what the instruction to us is, start remembering me right now. Whatever that your age is you're at, you start remembering me now. Maybe in the past you didn't do it, but now you heard, no, in chapter 8 you heard. Now you start remembering me. Okay. And the principle here he's giving in the next one, as you think, so shall you become. That we don't know phrase, right? English. So if at the very end you think you will become that. And we have the famous story of Jada Bharata. See, there was a king who actually then, went into Vanprastha sannyas. He was doing meditation. He was almost realized, you can say. But one day when he went to take a bath at the river, he saw a mother deer giving birth to a baby, because there was a lion who roared, and that mother deer got very scared, and suddenly she delivered the baby and she died because of the fright. Now that little baby, helpless deer baby was there, and this Mahatma, he felt sorry. So he brought that little baby to the ashram, and then then of course it's a baby deer doe, right? So he will feed, and then he or she, whatever, that deer will play on his lap when he's meditating, and then what happened was, then he got attached to that deer. He got attached to that little baby, and when he died, the thought came, who will look after him when I die? This is what happens. And this is for a person who has done a lot of meditation. Think about us. Think about us. And then what happened? He came into birth as a deer. He became a deer. Last thought, if you think of dog, you'll become a dog. That's why don't get attached to dogs. Don't get attached to anything in life, in your life, other than God. That is the principle. Get attached to God. Anything that happens, immediately the thought of God should come to you. That's why we say karma yoga. Think of God. I'm doing this for God. This is, oh God, this happened. Oh Lord, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. That's what I've told you. Every time, anything good happens, thank you, Lord. Bad happens, okay, God, now you give me the strength. So every interaction, you bring God in one way or the other. That is the only way that we have a chance. See, also, we don't know. People go in the sleep. People go into a coma, then they go. People go on to ventilator, then they'll say, okay, remove. So we don't know how. See, to remember, my mind has to be little bit functioning, na? But how do I know that my mind will be functioning at the time of my death? I don't know that. That's why the instruction has been given to us at night. Before you go to sleep, remember God and go to sleep, because in the middle of the night, anything can happen. Anything can happen. I'm sure I have seen many people. I mean, I don't think I have to tell any one of you, right? People go to sleep next day morning, it's like something totally different has happened. That is why this instruction has been given. Okay, so this is what he means. Now, the other thing of this memory, can I have memory of something which I have no knowledge of? If I don't know only something, okay, some animal is there, some plant is there, some fruit is there that I've never heard about. I mean, until I came to this country, I'd never heard of kiwi fruit, honestly. And the first time I saw that thing in the superstore, then I thought, oh, that's chiku. Like in India, you get chiku. It looks like chiku only. I said, oh, that's chiku. No, that's not chiku. That's kiwi. Kiwi, what is kiwi? So the point is, now I remember kiwi. Now I remember, and I can tell you this. If I do not have knowledge of something, will I have memory of it? So this, when he says smaran is memory. Remember me, that means you have to have knowledge of me, no, to remember me. So therefore, get knowledge about me, understand me, remember me during life, during your happy time. See, usually only in sorrow we think, oh Lord, why did this happen to me? But when everything is going smoothly in our life, we never think of it. Very rarely people think of it. Everything is happening. I did this and this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. Then suddenly something hits us, and then we are like, oh my God, Therefore, they say in Bhakti, they say grace is like you have the umbrella already before it starts raining. Most of us, when it starts raining, we go looking for an umbrella. And this is what Bhagavan is saying here by saying, remember me. First thing is, unless you have remembered me throughout your life, it is not possible for you to remember me at the end of your life, when you have become weak in body and mind both, when your faculties are fading. That time you will have memory of that which you have practiced throughout your life. Then, second is, memory you cannot have without knowledge. Unless you know something about that object or whatever situation or whatever, you cannot have memory of that. So you have to have knowledge also. You have to have practice also. this one. And the principle is that whatever last, because you see, understand that the mind is getting carried forward. Huh? Where is this memory is happening or knowledge happening? It's happening in the mind. Body is getting destroyed, burnt, not destroyed, recycled. Bodies, but the mind is traveling into the next body. So whatever that thought is in that mind, subtle thought, it will go into the next body. That's the principle. Last minute thought, you're carrying it with us. We carry it with us. We drop this body, this form is dropped, and that mind will carry. And then whatever form I had thought of at the last minute, that form I will get right away. Therefore, he says, if you think of me with knowledge, that is what it is. If I think of Krishna as, Krishna is over there and I'm over here and he's there, that doesn't work. I have to have the complete knowledge that he and I are one. That knowledge I have to have. And with that knowledge, I must remember him at the end, at the time of death. Then he says, Mad Bhava, you will become me. Mad Bhava is, you will come to me means not to my, my loka and my world. No. You'll just straight come to me alone, me and me alone. That's what these 2 points. We don't know what is going to happen at the time of death, our death. So that's the principle of every time you take God's name, because you don't know next minute what is going to happen. And then we may not be even aware at the time of our death, right? That is what this is. So it is not very easy. Like it seems like a very easy instruction. Yeah, I'll remember him at the time of death, but it is not such an easy thing to do unless we have practiced it. If we have practiced it all our life, then at the end also we will come. Anything happens, try and remember the Lord. That is what will help us. Therefore, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhya cha mayarpitamano buddhihi mame vaishyasa samshayaha. Therefore, at all times, remember me and fight. With mind and intellect fixed or absorbed in me, you shall doubtless come to me alone. Now here, therefore, he told you first too, why he should be remembered, because then we will go to him when we remember. So therefore he concludes at all times. That's why here he brings at all times. Right now you have to start. At all times is, see, time of death is only one. That's it. You're dead and then you'll be gone, right? I'll be gone. I better say I, not you. So, but at all times means right now. And here, see, you remember me and fight, okay? So this Gita, I told you, Gita is being told individually to Arjuna, and Arjuna is standing on the battlefield. Because you might say, yeah, but I am not in any fight, right? But this is specific for Arjuna, and we'll see how it applies. Of course, it totally applies to us as well. But here, you do war. That's what he's telling Arjuna. You fight, remembering me, you fight. So if you die in the fight, you will come to me. Because you could die also in the fight. Nobody knows what's happening. Now, this Yudhya word, there are, there's a Sanskrit grammar. There is what is known as, in grammar, this is Atmani Pada and Parasmai Pada, okay? Parasmai, Atmani means Atma, mind. So for myself, and Parasmai means for others. For others. So when this word changes, so this Yudhya and Yudhyasva, there are these 2 words which mean the same thing, fight. But when Yudhya is used, it is what is known as Parasmai Pada, means fight for others. And Swa, when you add Swa to it, Swa means myself, means you fight for your own self. Okay. Now, for Arjun, this is specific. So he's telling him fight for Dharma. That's what he's telling him. See, because Arjun was mad that, Draupadi was insulted, etc., etc. And also they were cheated out of their kingdom and everything, right? But ultimately what Bhagwan said to him, that ultimately it's a dharma yuddha. It's a war for dharma, for righteousness. You are standing on dharmic side. They are on the adharmic side. So whatever they did to Draupadi, whatever they did to your, because it's just their kingdom. No, you have to fight for the totality. That's why this yudhya word is used here, not yudhyasva, not don't do it for yourself. Because if it was for Arjun, then it would be for Draupadi, it would be for his own kingdom. But that is not what Bhagwan is saying here. Bhagwan is saying, no, you fight for the totality. Because if they win, Kauravas win, then there will be complete adharma everywhere. And that you have to avoid, not your personal, whatever that you have, personal vendetta, not for personal vendetta. So for us now, we are not on any battlefield, but life itself is a battle for us. Every minute in life, what is a battle? Did I do this right? Should I have done this the other way? Was I the cause of this thing? Was I not the cause? Could I have avoided? That is the war that we are fighting with ourselves. Okay. So that remembering God, okay, what does it mean remembering God? You do it. If you remember God, correct thinking has to be there. There is one worrying, but one thought process is worrying, okay? Chinta. Okay, chinta is worrying. What is worrying? Worrying is where you will never reach a proper destination. You'll go in circles, you'll keep on, what if this happens? What should I have done? Why did I do it? That way. Okay. But when you bring God into the picture, okay, now bring God into the picture. Now you say, first thing is, you have to let go of the ego, because whatever you did, now you're thinking, I did it. Could you have done it without the presence of God? Can we do anything? Whether I wanted to honk, whether I didn't want to honk, whether I wanted to leave space in between, whether I didn't want to leave space in between, could you have done without God? So when I have these feelings that did I do wrong? Did I do right? Should I have done something else? If you bring God into the picture and let go of your own ego, at that point, you have to think, at that point, what was the correct action? So if I'm driving and if there is a T intersection and if I have to leave a space, I personally, if I was driving, that is the norm. That is the norm, that you leave so that the person who is coming from the side street has because you're anyway and the red light. At Camby, we are doing that all the time now that there's so much construction going on. So there's all. Now if somebody else comes on that side road and turns and has an accident, am I to blame that I left the space there? I did the right thing. No, that is the right thing to do, to leave space, because you're going to go block that road also. Nobody's moving. Neither that car on the right-hand side who wants to turn can move. You can't move anyway because right in front of you, there is a red light. You can't. So you have taken the right decision for that moment, that, oh, the light is red, traffic is blocked up, there is a road here on the right-hand side, there might be somebody coming from there. Now I'm going to stop here. Now what happens is, now that person comes and trying to turn, somebody from the third lane has hit. There's an accident. Okay. Then point number one. You think if I would have honked, why did that person have an accident? That's their destiny. Each one's destiny is driving their life. So if I would have honked and you think I could have avoided the accident that person, that means I can change somebody else's destiny? I can't change my own destiny. What I will change other people's? My responsibility I did. What was the responsibility of the other person? Even if you're crossing, you need to watch. If there is, because the people are just coming, how would the third lane know that, I'm here in this lane, on the left-hand side is a lane, from right, this car is coming because I've left space. That's why. But I have done the right thing by leaving space. That person is coming. That person also has done the right thing, but the wrong thing that the person did was not check the next lane. Because just because I stopped doesn't mean that the next car will stop. I did that actually, but then the girl stopped. There was a girl crossing. That side traffic had stopped, but I didn't realize I was going. There was only 2 lanes on Blenheim, and I was coming, but that girl was coming the bicycle. She realized that I'm not slowing down, and she stopped in the middle of the road. And then I waved to her and I said, I'm sorry, but because I couldn't stop by then. So I went ahead. Otherwise, I would have hit her. Okay. So it is the responsibility of the pedestrian who is crossing also, because see, I'm on the road, like I'm driving, and she's not at a crosswalk or anything, which means I have no responsibility. But still, now when this person, so that person's destiny is driving her result. Now I'm taking responsibility for that. And I have not done anything wrong. By leaving space, I have not done anything wrong. So when I start doing this, that is the fight that we have. Okay, with ourselves only. And I think I could have avoided the accident. That means I could have changed her destiny. Ego. Ego. We cannot change anybody's destiny. We cannot change our own destiny either. So when Bhagwan says, every time you remember me, for us, this Yudhya word, it's not a war that we are on the battlefront. It is our day-to-day life. Is my action at that moment as per dharma? Remember, God is on the side of dharma always. So was it the dharmic thing? Now, dharmic means in when we are going in traffic, was it the right thing to do as per traffic rules? And what would the answer come? Yes. Yes, if you are, otherwise that's what sometimes people do, they'll block nobody can move. So why not leave that space? They do there here at 39th and Cambie, because there's a red light is fully blocked, then they will be in between. So people can cross, or people who want to turn left, they will have the way to go. That is what is meant when he says, every time you remember me while acting in life for us. For Arjun, it is, yeah, during the war, that is okay. But for us, okay. And as long as at that moment, that was the right thing to do, because now I'm thinking, oh, maybe I should not have left space. Then she could not have gone. But that would have been a wrong thing for you to do, for me to do. Okay. I must do right. Whether that result then gives something wrong, that is not in my hands. But while doing a surgeon on the operating table, why does he cut into that person? Right? Abdominal surgeries, whatever, amputation, he is doing it for the good, but the patient could die. One of my friends, she had heart surgery, but she was told there's a 2% chance of stroke. That very night, she got a stroke in the hospital while she was attached to all the things. But the doctor, now should the surgeon feel, oh my God, but she needed the open heart surgery, right? And she was told there's a chance of stroke, 2% chance of stroke. She was one of those 2%. What to do? Is the surgeon to blame for that? While he was doing good. His intention was good. And that is what Bhagwan says. When he says, you remember me, means my intention is good. Bhagwan, what happens to, because that is her destiny. That's the patient's destiny. So this is what happens. There's only 2%. We become part of that 2% only. Now what to do? 98% have survived that surgery and gone free and nothing happened. But she did that way. Now, Mayarpita Mano Buddhihi. So Mayarpita Manaha, Mayarpita Buddhihi, Mama, you will come to me without, you shall doubtless come to me. Okay, Samshaya, without any doubt. So there is two things. Mai Arpita Buddhi and Mai Arpita Mana. So mind and intellect put in me. Is mind, it's not like a gulab jam, that you can take and put in a katori and then leave it over there. So what does he mean by mind and intellect absorbed in me, offered to me? Surrender. That's what he's saying is, you surrender your mind. What is not surrendering? Not surrendering is when I think I know the thing and I will be able to do it and I will do it. That is not surrendering. So what does surrendering mean? Surrendering mean, oh Lord, you are the one that has given me this thought to do this thing, and that is that thine shall be done. That is what, and remembering him at I've told you this many times, even while making a mundane grocery list, put Om. That's why I told you, Guruji's, every email also, he's got that Om on there. That is, whatever he writes, he will write Om first. So he has remembered the Lord. So that is what is meant by putting the mind. Buddhi, mind is a doubting Thomas, right? Mind is the one that is oscillating. Should I do? Should I not do? Should I do? Should I not do? Intellect is what is deciding what should be done or what should not be done. That is also a decision. So that is what the intellect is. So when both these things are done as a, okay, oh Lord, you tell me what is the right thing for me to do. Then you have offered. If I, before lecture, if I say, oh Lord, now you come and help me give this lecture, speak, then I have surrendered myself. Otherwise, I'm capable. I have studied this portion, so I will do it. Then that is not surrender. This is what he's saying here. Your mind and intellect should always be absorbed in me. Our Swamijis, they give us the example, if there is a music, live music, classical music artist is singing, then in the back there is that swarana, that ting, ting, ting. They have this electric thing only. Nobody has to do it. They put it. So what Swamijis tell us, you do all the work, but in the background have that thing. That is always there. Na? So in the background, you think of God. Like that, God should be there in all. You go on whatever actions you're doing, your daily work, your daily whatever, commute to the office work, driving, whatever it is you do. But like that, it's called something, na? That ting, 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 that thing is there. Like that, God should be there in the background constantly. Okay, that is what is meant by Mayarpita Manaha, Mayarpita Buddhihi. Both it is Mayarpita Buddhi, Mayarpita Manaha. So next, now what happens is, how do I do this? Mayarpita Buddhi, Mayarpita Manaha, how do I do it? Abhyas yoga yuktena chetasa nanyagamiना paramam purusham divyam yati parthanu chintayan. With the mind not moving towards any other thing, made steadfast by the method of habitual meditation and constantly meditating on the Supreme Purusha, the resplendent, O Partha, he goes to him. So he is now entering the field of meditation. So far, what you were saying is, in that outside world, when you are acting, make sure that in the background, there is always the thought of me, God. Okay, now he's now coming into a limited time frame where because meditation, actually, like Gurudeva said, meditation is a noun, it is not a verb. Okay, so if it is, because meditation is you cannot do meditation, because if you're doing something at some point in time, you're going to get tired and you're not going to be able to do it. So meditation is that swara at the background. That is meditation throughout the day. But now for Krama Mukti, because that's what we are going into, you do need meditation to sit at one place and keep some 5 minutes, 10 minutes of your day, if you can, to meditate. And what he's saying, Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena. So yoga is joining to God with what? With Abhyasa. Abhyasa, practice. Practice makes perfect. That is why I'm telling you, throughout our life, we must practice remembering God. We must practice doing karma yoga. Suddenly, mind cannot get detached from other things. Suddenly, it is not good. Nothing happens suddenly. Everything happens by practice. Like you go to the gym, you start with 5-pound weight, and then you carry on to further weights, higher, heavier weights. That way, in your daily life, you start remembering God. And then when your mind is purified, purified enough that you can sit at one place and concentrate on that thought of God. And when you sit at one place, then it is not in the background. Now, memory of God is in the foreground. So that is all you're doing. Now, what you do is, all your daily duties, to-do list, you put in the background. That then becomes like that Shruti, that goes ting, ting, ting. That is in the background. And in the foreground is God. During the day, in the foreground should be your own work, your, job, your whatever, children, cooking, housework, or whatever. And the God's name should be in the back, memory. Okay, that way. Now he's saying, Abhyasa yoga chetas mind. Na anya gamina. Na anya gamina is to go. Anya everywhere else. Let not the mind wander all over the place by yukta, by joining with habitual meditation. Means practice sitting at one place at least just for 5 minutes every day. Take 5 minutes from your busy schedule. We are all very, very busy. There's never any time to do anything. But Bhagwan is saying, take this time to think of me, and that you will get the mind gets used to it. Tame the mind. That's why Gurudev has said, tame the mind. Mind is like a monkey. Okay. Mind is jumping all over the place. That is the nature of the mind. That's why mind is compared to a monkey. What does a monkey do? Monkey can never sit still at one place, constantly jumping from one branch. That way, the mind is constantly jumping from one thought to the next, to the next. What is the mind next to do? Next to do? What do I do? What do I do? What I'm going to do? What I'm going to... Whole day it is doing that. So he says, take time from that busy schedule and try not to let the mind go other places other than me, my thought. What is other? Other than my thought, do a practice of the mind to think of only me. And we can start even just with 5 minutes. Even if the mind wanders, let it wander. But what we do with practice is we are creating a vasana. Japa, see, japa also is told. Now, while doing japa, mind wanders. And so why should I do japa then? The question arises, then mind is wandering anyway. What is the point of doing japa? What we do in this life, see, we are going to carry whatever we did in this life, we are going to carry it into next life. So if we start doing japa now, even if the mind is wandering, we do japa, but that vasana of doing japa is being created. So what will happen is when we go into the next life, and hopefully we'll have a human birth, then the japa vasana will be there, and the mind also will have quietened a little bit more than what it was in this life. That's that abhyasa yoga. What is abhyasa? Yoga is coming from yuj, to join. That word the meaning doesn't change. Yoga is to join. But see, we have seen karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga. Now this is abhyasa yoga. So the joining through practice. So that's why practice karma yoga, practice. So now that I've given you, now in the next week, from the fundamentals class, those who are, now what you should think is how many karmas in this week I did as karma yoga, as just start with a sense of duty and see when I did I do it? Oh, I like this, so I'll do it. Or did I say, you know what, it is my duty to do this. So I really don't like to do this, but because it is my duty, I will do it. Now keep a watch on your own mind. That is how, spiritual evolution happens. Watching your own, we are very used to watching other people, what they're thinking, what they're doing, Anyagamina, our mind is constantly Anyagamina. It is going everywhere else. So that's why now with practice, so you have to force yourself sometimes to sit there for 5 minutes. So think these 5 minutes, I'm going to sit here, and that is all I'm going to do is try to think of the Lord. And even if the mind wanders, bring it back. It goes, bring it back, become aware. Oh, it's wandering. Come back, come back, come back, and tell the mind, this 5 minutes is not meant for anything else. It is only meant for remembrance of God. This is what he's getting at. And what should be remembered? Paramam Purusham Divyam. So now again, Paramam word has come and Divyam word has come. Divyan, divine. Paramam, supreme. Purusham. So here this Purusham means pure consciousness. There, in the previous verse, I told you, Purusha there meant Hiranyagarbha, but here no, because he has qualified with the two words, Paramam and Divyam. Divine and supreme, which means it only is indicating the pure consciousness, Brahman. And so the only meditation, Nididhyasana, is Aham Brahmasmi. Or we are not at the stage, our mind is not that purified, but at least you can take support of your Ishta Devata and then think Lord Shiva, Krishna, Sri Rama, whatever. But take 5 minutes of your time and start this practice. Then Partha, son of Kunti, Prutha, that is one meaning, Partha. All 5 brothers were Partha only. Karna also was Partha only. But one meaning of this word Partha, the one break is Pa and Artha. Pa representing Parmeshwara, Paramatma, and Artha is meaning. Not Artha, it doesn't mean wealth, or wealth also, you can take it. So one who wants the wealth of Paramatma alone, or one who wants to know the meaning of Paramatma, also that becomes Partha. Pa plus Artha. And that is the meaning here we can take. So what Bhagwan is using the word Partha, oh Partha, you should come to know me, you should understand me. So for that Chintayan, you do not Chinta, Chintan. There is word Chinta, which is worry, which is directionless thinking. So worrying is you're just going in circles. You keep worrying. What if this happens? What is that? All these fanciful scenarios which never happen. Mark Twain said that, right? Like, I thought of so many, worried about so many things, half of which never happened also. So that is Chinta, but Chintayan is a directional thinking. So it is not worrying, but it is somewhere where there will be a destination. So when you think of the Lord constantly, that destination you shall reach. This is what Bhagavan is saying here. Yati Partha Anuchintayan. Anu. So the word Anu is there. Partha Anuchintayan. Anu is to follow. So follow means what? Following what? Following my knowledge. So get my knowledge first, exactly who I am. And following that knowledge, you sit at one place and you constantly think of that alone. So knowledge comes, practice is coming. Now remembrance will come as well. That's when remembrance will come at the very end, when we have no energy, when we have no strength, when our strength has depleted, mental strength, physical strength to do anything, everything is depleted. Then what you have practiced all your life, what you are very good at, that will come. That will come. So Anu Chinta, this Anu word is important here. Anu, afterwards, Divyam Riswar Partha, Anu Chintayan. He's here, Gurudev is only meditating, but Anu word, meditation has to follow knowledge. Knowledge comes first, then you start meditating. So now in this chapter alone, what knowledge did he give us? What information did he give us? That the one who remembers me at the end will come to me. And we saw the principles, because, and what is the reason for that? As you think, so shall you become. So that last thought, you will carry it, because mind will go with you. So with you means not with the body will fall, mind will go, take another body, and then that thought will be there. And remembering can happen only when you have the knowledge. If you don't know something, you cannot remember that thing. So remembrance will happen only with knowledge, and remembrance will happen also only with practice. Therefore, start practicing now. Because if you say that at the last minute I will remember, you will not remember him, because that is not what you have practiced. So now you do that. That's what he's given. Now, Anu, now you've got all this information. Now what you do, so far, what did he say? Remembering me, you fight. So then what is the fight for us? Day-to-day life. Day-to-day life itself is a fight. So every day we will go and we'll remember him, and we'll do in the background. Now is coming into what mode? Now you take 5 minutes of your time, put everything else in the background, put me in the foreground. Okay, now you got this knowledge, because knowledge, remembrance, practice. Now you practice this. This is how it is progressing. Okay. Any questions? And the next verse, he's going to explain, give his own definition, like what this Purusha is, the goal. That is what he's going to tell us in verse number 9. We'll stop here today. Are there any questions? Question solved? No questions? What I had to also ask you is next Monday is a holiday, Truth and Reconciliation Day. So it's a long weekend. So would you like to take a break? That's what I have to ask, because I don't know what is happening with Bal Vihar. Premsa is not here, so I don't know. And anyway, Bal Vihar doesn't have any connection with us. I am here in town. I know Shrestha isn't, but if everybody else is in town and would like the class, we'll continue with the class. If you want a break, then we can take a break, because generally long weekends we take a break, but somehow this, I had forgotten about this long weekend. And yeah, so you can decide. Who wants the class? Raise their hands, or who would like a break? That is fine too. So you want the class 1, 2, 3,
I may
4.
not be available if I'm heard.
Oh, okay, but the recording will be there.
Yes.
So is it majority who are okay to have the class? Okay. Okay, so then we should have the class, I think, because really I am not going anywhere anyways. Because October 14th, we will definitely be closed, that one. Okay. All right. Then next Sunday, there will be the 8 o'clock class also, and there'll be the 9:15 class also. Okay. So please come in and we will continue with chapter 8. If there are no further questions, then I'm going to close the class. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Go Brahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Desho Yam Kshobarahita Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Om Sarvesham Swasti Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kasyit Dukha Bhag Bhavet Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Okay, Hari Om everybody.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hari Om Jaya Ji. Thank
Hari
you.
Om, Hari Om.
Thank you.